All right. All right. Bear with me. I am still, whoa. Yeah, see. I am still trying to figure out how to navigate this thing. So let's go to this for, or maybe we should go to this first. Bro, there's gotta be an easier way. There's gotta be an easier way to like manage this if you're using one screen, right? Anyway, what I decided I was going to do was because of the fact that there's so much happening and so much happening. I don't know what just happened. Anyway, because of the fact that there's so much happening, I feel like that it's good to just like talk about some of it here, especially since we have the clowns over the other social media platforms talking about it. But what I want to talk about or what I want to address that it's driving me insane that people are not talking about the law that they just passed criminalizing free speech, criminalizing your First Amendment rights, criminalizing being able to criticize the government of Israel, the state of Israel, and by extension, they're going to criminalize boycotts and criminalizing any discussion of criminalizing protesting. Like, I feel like people are not making nearly as big of a deal of this as they should be. And that's really scary to me. The bill passed with overwhelming bipartisan support from Congress. And it is likely that probably all of the senators, it'll go through the Senate like it ain't no thing. And then Biden will probably sign it. And something that really, really pisses me off about this, like on the Democratic side, I have plenty of smoke for the Republicans, but on the Democratic side, is that you aren't hearing any of them talk about this as a threat to democracy. Where are the Democrats? It's all, this is a threat to democracy. Everything is a threat to democracy. Trump is a threat to democracy. The Republicans are a threat to democracy. And yet, you're not hearing any of them talk about this as a serious, serious threat to our democracy, which it is. So we're going to get more into that in a little bit, but I first wanted to share this. Oh, wait, let me actually just read what this says. I think we failed a very important aspect of this era, namely to break Google's stranglehold over YouTube and ADLs over YouTube, Twitter. Yeah, you're right. Not only that, but that they're going to ban TikTok and then they're going to continue to hold a stranglehold over all of our media companies. It's really terrifying. And honestly, I'm scared that more people aren't talking about it. That it worries me and bothers me that there aren't more people freaking out about this. Like, this is a huge deal. They haven't passed legislation like this probably in 100 years, maybe more than in 100 years. It's just crazy. And then we have our media, the so-called guardians of democracy, being like, oh, we care so much about free speech and protecting the press and Trump and blah, 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 blah. But listen to this deranged screed. I'm sure many of you have already seen it, but this deranged screed that Dan and Bash went on the other day, literally comparing anti-genocide protesters on the college campuses to 1930s Germany.
Welcome to Inside Politics. I'm Dana Bash. We start with destruction, violence, and hate on college campuses across the country. This was the scene just a short while ago at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. Police clashing with protesters. 12 people were arrested. Hours earlier, protests rocked the University of Arizona, where campus police used chemical irritant munitions.
Can you hear it?
Protesters.
Can you guys hear it? Can you let me know if you can hear it?
Around the same time at UCLA, pro-Israel and pro-Palestinian groups were attacked.
You see how she presents it in this voice? Like she's just giving you the facts, man.
Parking cones, even a scooter. And before that, the NYPD was able to clear Columbia University after protesters barricaded themselves inside a campus building. 300 people were arrested at Columbia and City College of New York. But it is unclear how many were actually students. New York City Mayor Eric Adams warned this morning that professional outside agitators are getting involved.
Evidence?
There is a movement to radicalize young people. And I'm not going to wait until it's done and all of a sudden acknowledge the existence of it. This is a global problem that young people are being influenced by those who are professionals at radicalizing our children. And I'm not going to allow that to happen as the mayor of the city of New York.
Many of these protests started peacefully.
Okay, pause. That is an amazing statement of fucking propaganda. So amazing. He's literally saying like, listen, man, we really got to do something about the youths. You know what I mean? They're getting way too much information because that's what this is really fucking about. They don't like that people are getting information. They don't like that people are seeing what's really happening, especially young people. So they're saying, oh, these young kids, they're getting way too much information. We really got to start cracking down on this. And Dana Bash is a piece of shit, okay? She presents this insane screed and propaganda as though it is reality, as though it's the truth, as though it's the facts, you know, because CNN, they're just like the facts, man. And they're just like presenting the facts. And she's presenting it like this is a news story when she lies over and over and over again. Not once did she do any, reports on all the anti-genocide protesters that were assaulted at UCLA. She didn't do any reports on that. She didn't talk about the Zionist protesters that attacked the anti-genocide protesters on UCLA. But then she's coming up with fake outrage and manufactured consent over anti-genocide protesters on college campuses and comparing it to the Holocaust. Hey, Amor. Oh, from the UK. Hey. Okay, let's finish this deranged fucking screed.
Fully with legitimate.
Why is it so low?
But in many cases, they lost the plot. They're calling for a ceasefire. Well, there was a ceasefire on October 6th, the day before Hamas terrorists brutally murdered more than 1,000 people inside Israel and took hundreds more as hostages.
Again, notice how this propagandist will present what she is saying as though it is a fact, even when it's not. And notice the language that she uses to manufacture consent. Hamas militants are terrorists. The IOF, though, not. And then she says there was a ceasefire on the 6th. Was there, though? Was there? There really wasn't. There have been no ceasefire for the Palestinians. There has not been a ceasefire for the Palestinians since the fucking Nakba, okay? So get the fuck out of here with that. Somebody's going to have to show me or tell me where to look it up. If you could help me look it up. Where in post, when I edit this in the post to like upload the clips, how I can bleep out the cuss words. Because I know that like they have an issue with the cuss words and I do cuss a lot. So anyway, Let's go back to this deranged lunatic.
This hour, I'll speak to an American-Israeli family whose son is still held captive by Hamas since that horrifying day that brought us to this moment.
Hey, from Lebanon,
Palestinian protesters talking about that. We will. Now, protesting the way the
you're so brave.
Prime Minister is prosecuting the retaliatory war against Hamas is one thing. Making Jewish students feel unsafe at their own schools is unacceptable. And it is happening way too much right now.
Look at how passionate she is. First of all, and then she shows one random anecdote of some fucking Zionist agitator whining about how he can't get into his class. Again, this is what manufacturing consent looks like in our trash ass corporate fucking media. Okay? This is manufacturing consent because she goes, protests are fine, but making Jewish students feel unsafe is unacceptable. So let's pass laws against it. First of all, how come you don't have concern over the Jewish protesters that are on the side of the Palestinians? Because there are a lot of protesters from Jewish Voices for Peace and other Jewish organizations that are anti-Zionist that are protesting alongside these protesters, and you didn't say shit about their safety. And again, why is it only the safety of the Jewish students that matters? How about the safety of the Muslim students? How about the safety of the Arab students? We haven't seen a single one of these people in our corporate media, none of them, not even independent media, talking about the fact that there are tons of Arab students that feel unsafe and Palestinian students and Muslim students that feel unsafe. Yeah, exactly, B4. It's feeling. This is not reality. First of all, for those of you who don't know, which I'm sure most of you do, this is America and we have a fucking First Amendment. A First Amendment which protects your right to protest. It protects your right to boycott. It protects your right to engage in hate speech. I don't care if you don't like this speech. The point of the First Amendment is to protect speech that people don't like. That is the point. But now, in the United States of Israel, we're not allowed to speak and criticize that government. Because according to Dana Bash and other lackeys in the media, they're saying, oh, well, you don't have a right to make people feel unsafe. Feel unsafe. Okay. Yeah, that's not protected by the First Amendment, number one. And number two, I don't care about your feel. Where are the conservatives? Where are the conservatives? You know, all the conservatives, all the facts don't care about your feeling types. Where are they? Ben Shapiro literally has on his computer a sticker that says facts don't care about your feelings. But out of the other side of his mouth, he is saying, just like Dana Bash, that students who are on the pro-genocide, pro-Israeli side should feel safe, as if that has anything to do with our Constitution. And further, no concern about the Arab students. No concern about the Muslim students. No, none of that. Yeah, 100%, Amor. 100%. They are actually creating more anti-Semitism as they pretend to care about Jewish safety so long as they're on the Israeli side and not the pro-Palestinian side. That's how this game is played. All right, let's finish this idiot.
I'm a UCLA student. I deserve to go here. We pay tuition. This is our school. And they're not letting me walk in. My class is over there. I want to use that entrance. Why can't I go? Will you let me go in? This could be over in a second. Just let me and my friends go in.
Again, what you just saw is 2024 in Los Angeles, harkening back to the 1930s in Europe. And I do not say that lightly. The fear among Jews in this country is
fucking clown. You're a clown. You're a clown. That was the most clownish shit I've ever seen. I don't say that lightly. I'm sorry. Do you not know anything about history or Germany for that matter? This is Kristallnacht. Like, you guys, this is insane. This is insanity. Comparing a student getting uncomfortable because a couple people are standing in their way to 1930s Germany. You want to talk about losing the plot. You want to talk about losing the plot. This is fucking ridiculous. If CNN were a real organization, were a real news organization interested in doing news, her ass would have been fired. Her ass would have been fired for that. You get on here and you pretend to be a journalist and you speak as though you're speaking in fact, and you come up with this insane propaganda talking about how college protests, which are protected by the First Amendment and are not violent, are the same thing as 1930s Germany, and you get to keep your job. What? This is ridiculous. This is manufacturing consent. This is this is so insane. This is insane. Oh my gosh, like it's just crazy. I really can't. I just, it's hard to put into words what ridiculousness this is. She wants to talk about 1930s Germany. Every single one of you in the press that's getting on TV and parroting everything
Politics. I'm Dana
that
Bash.
Israel says. I don't know why this started. And parroting every single thing that the Israeli government says, that's fascism. You get on here and you fucking parrot the propaganda and the lies of the Israeli regime, and then you pretend you are doing that under the guise of the First Amendment while you work to crush the speech of these students. That is ridiculous. That is fascism. But do you condemn Hamas? Oh, you know what? Speaking of, hey, Zach, speaking of, but do you condemn Hamas? Because that's like what Piers Morgan's name actually should be. Piers, but do you condemn Hamas, Morgan? I really love, I wanted to share with you guys what Jank Uygur said to him yesterday on his show. So, hey, Colby. So he said, I want you guys to see this because it's really good. Jank's response. I know that there are some people who don't like Jank, who are like on the left that don't like Jank. I love Jank. I don't care if people get mad that I like him. I think that Jank is great. And he's one of the few people on the left that will actually fight fire with fire. So many people on the left are all weak-kneed and like, oh, well, you know, maybe I like that Jank will go like full Alex Jones on people and scream at them and like not shut up regardless of how people attack him. I love that. And yeah, before I get to that though, Rotten Ruby just said, and I want to highlight that too and agree with you, that they did this during the Iraq War, which is the reason why people should be so outraged about the propaganda that they're putting out and should be so outraged about this legislation that attacks everybody's free speech, because this is not new. They attacked viciously people in the 60s during the Vietnam War. They attacked viciously people that were protesting against the Iraq War and the Afghanistan War in the early 2000s and called them terrorists and terrorist sympathizers. Like, and now they're doing the same thing. They are lying about these protests. They are lying on the students. They are lying about what they're protesting about. These students are protesting to divest from companies in Israel that are supporting genocide. That is what they're protesting. But these liars in the media continue to smear them and continue to say that they're pro-terrorist, which is the same shit that they did in the early 2000s when people were protesting against the Iraq War. Okay, so I want to see, when is it?
That doesn't mean I don't have very strong views about what's happening in Gaza, because you know that I do. So where is my lie in all this?
Yeah, Piers.
Sorry, guys. I'm still trying to get used to like how to actually like operate the stream like while I'm doing it, because I'm still kind of new to YouTube. Which, by the way, I think I told you guys this, but it was pretty exciting. Now that I finally have enough watch hours on YouTube, people can join memberships here with me and can send me super chats, which is pretty cool. Let me see. They have no shame. Oh, of course they don't. Okay, but this is what I wanted to show you guys. Thank you before for being patient. You guys for being patient with me as I still try to figure this out. And I don't have moderators yet, and I don't have anyone who can kind of help me with the production aspect of this yet. I've been doing it all myself, so just bear with me. But I wanted to show you guys this clip because I really like Jank's response. I wanted to talk about Jank's response, which I think is really good, and how this is how more people should be responding to these propagandists. Because what Jank is responding to here is Piers Morgan going on a 25-minute fucking rant and trying to corner this Palestinian activist and tell her, oh no, yeah, but you need to, but Jewish students, but Columbia, but the property, all of that shit. Like, what about the property? What about the Columbia school property? With no mention of what has been happening in Gaza and what has been happening to the Palestinians during all of this. So, I'll like move it up a little quicker to do it like 1.5 speed, but it's good.
I just listened to you for 20 minutes frame the issue in a purely 100% Israeli propaganda way. No Palestinian chant, interrupting. But what you don't talk about is you say from the river to the sea is an unacceptable chant. Did you mention to the audience
the insignia relating to Hamas or Hezbollah or whatever? If you're brazenly supporting organizations,
no, you are. I agree with Cornel West completely. You're totally, utterly lying through your framing. The framing of this is a total complete lie.
No, I can't hear you both speak at the same time. Cornel, just to be clear, I have posted. Sorry, hang on. I have posted about the journalists who've died in Gaza.
Have you done
posted about this? I've highlighted the deaths of those journalists. Right?
Put it in the framework.
Well, I'm going to.
Yeah. I gotta figure out, guys, how I can actually pause the video that I'm doing as I'm like talking without having to switch tabs. I still haven't figured that out yet. Okay. So Cornel West is criticizing him for the framing of his questions, which absolutely is the right thing because his framing is ridiculous. Okay. And then he goes, and then Jank is like, oh, he's right. You are lying. And this framing is absurd. And then Piers is like, oh, you know what? I've posted about the journalists that have been murdered in Gaza and the universities that have been leveled. Oh, I see. You posted about it. You did a tweet about it. So because you did one post about it or one tweet about it, you think that's sufficient. As opposed to, okay, which one guys has more weight? More weight. A random tweet? Or Piers Morgan spending 45 minutes with, but do you condemn Hamas? And what about Columbia's property? Like, for real. Kin said Muslims are labeled terrorists all the time and had to deal with all type of hate and racism, everybody. Yeah, 100%. 100%. And it's actually getting worse. And what they're doing now is not only have Muslims had to deal with a lot of hate that our media is ignoring. If you're a Muslim, you're an Arab person, and you don't even have to be Muslim. You could be Sikh if they just see you wearing a headdress of any kind, and they will attack you. Muslim people in this country are under attack. Okay. Free speech is under attack in this country. Arab people and Muslim people are under attack in this country. And that is further evidenced by the fact that Piers Morgan and any of the other people on the mainstream media refuse to acknowledge the harassment, the bullying, the threats, the intimidation of Arab or Muslim students or Arab or Muslim Palestinian and Palestinian activists. They refuse to acknowledge any of their suffering. But we're supposed to coddle all the feelings of the Zionists under the guise of protecting them from anti-Semitism. Get the fuck out of here, okay? And then on top of that, they're criminalizing. They will criminalize your speech. And you know what's going to happen after that? After they criminalize your speech, they're going to start arresting Muslims. That's what's going to happen. And it's happening in Joe Biden's America. The same fucking guy that pretends to give a shit about the protection of our democracy. Be so for real. Okay. So just, yeah, or anyone, you're right, Zach, anyone who's against the Zionist agenda.
I was going to come to you about the framework.
No, you're not. All the vandalism about one hall.
I love what
you say one word about universities, libraries gone completely, schoolrooms gone completely. You see how truncated and narrow your framework is? You're just lying, man. You ought to be ashamed of yourself.
When you say lying, what you're trying to imply that I don't care about the other stuff you've just mentioned.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
That's not a lie.
That's definitely right. Well, not have the same value as an Israeli life. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, let me bring in Jank. Let me bring in Jank here. Let me bring in Jank. Okay, let me bring in Jank. Just to be clear, I haven't lied about anything, right? I haven't talked about what's happening in Gaza yet because we haven't come to that part of the debate. But Jank, I don't believe you've always seemed to me to be one of the more rational voices in this debate, prepared to accept what Hamas did was horrendous and so on. I don't believe that you think it's right that Jewish students should be intimidated and harassed.
You come right back to the thing. Can I just answer this?
We are debating the protests. Okay,
come on, brother. Come on, man.
I don't think it's right. They should be subjected to intimidation.
Okay, Pierce. Nobody thinks it's right. Nobody thinks that's right. It's not right.
Let Jank speak, and I'll come back to you.
Girl has a hall named after her because she and 15,000 other children have been killed by the IDF terrorists that you don't even call terrorists, but you can call the students terrorists.
Colby,
that's not a double standards, man. That's just outright mendacity, hiding criminality on your show, and you're supposed to be uncensored, concerned about the truth.
Well, you just said I called them terrorists. I haven't called them terrorists. That, ironically, is a lie. Jank, I want to bring you in. You're getting very angry about this too. Just to be clear, I am expressing an opinion that what has happened at Columbia has crossed a line. And that if I'm a Jewish student there, I think it's completely outrageous. I'm being intimidated and harassed for the actions of Israel's government thousands of miles away. That doesn't mean I don't have very strong views about what's happening in Gaza, because you know that I do. So where is my lie in all this?
Yeah, Piers, I've just listened to you for 20 minutes frame the issue in a purely 100% Israeli propaganda way. So if you say, hey, listen, Jewish students shouldn't be harassed or attacked, of course I agree. I've got Jewish family.
So why have I lied?
Yeah, no. Stop interrupting. But what you don't talk about is you say from the river to the sea is an unacceptable change. Did you mention to the audience in these last 20 minutes that Benjamin Netanyahu actually said it recently? Not only that, he's actually doing it. He's in the middle of wiping out the Palestinians from the river to the sea. That is a grotesque violence. He has slaughtered 25,000 women and children. They were all innocent. So when Hamas kills 860 innocent Israeli civilians, I call them out and I say that is terrible. But when Israel slaughters 25,000 women and children, we're saying, oh, I don't like a pro-Palestinian chant. A chant. That's what we're concerned about. And now you turn to the violence that has happened on college campuses. There is one.
Yeah, but the thing is that which Jank is pointing out is that the double standard and the delusion of these people that are all in histrionics about this is that it's a red herring. It's a straw man to say, well, don't you care about Jewish students being harassed? No one has condoned that. No one is like, yeah, it's totally okay. It's totally okay to harass Jewish students. Literally, no one has said that. Half the people that are on the protesting side for the Palestinians are Jewish themselves. This is not about that. But they use that as a straw man, as a way to continue to try to frame the debate and frame what is happening in this fake manufactured consent claim of anti-Semitism that isn't happening. So while he says, yeah, but aren't you concerned about anti-Semitism and what happened on October 7th and people saying from the river to the sea, as Netanyahu is actually carrying out those crimes. He's not a student on a college campus just saying that he wants Palestinian freedom. He's actually carrying out those crimes. It's like next level gaslighting.
Case of overwhelming violence, and that happened last night at UCLA. And it was pro-Israeli protesters that violently attacked the peace protesters that didn't do anything. They attacked an old lady and said, oh yeah, good luck trying to defend yourself, old lady. These are vicious, vigilante thugs. And they have done more violence than all of the peace protesters in the country combined. Where are the arrests? Where's the outrage? Where's the indignation? You pretend that you care about protecting students, but you only care about protecting one side, whereas the other side is assaulted.
No, I don't actually. Because if
debased and humiliated, and all you want to do is cancel their speech. You're part of cancel culture and admit it right now.
Can I
You're
respond?
talking about protesting people.
Can I respond?
Americans.
Can I respond?
Americans.
By the way,
okay, this is not the United States of Israel.
Fine.
America
major point
to protest a foreign government.
Okay, let me respond. Just to be clear.
You've lost the right wing.
Just
you've
to
lost
be clear.
The left wing. You've lost America. America's not going to stand here and let Israel
you can keep shouting, or we can
who's
have a
allowed
debate.
to speak and who's going to be arrested.
All right, you can keep
I
shouting.
give you 20 minutes to do propaganda.
Okay,
Piers. Go ahead.
It's not propaganda. I have many views about all of this. We're talking specifically about the protests at Columbia, which I think you crossed a line. By the way, you talk about cancel culture. I'm entitled to my view without you and Dr. West screaming liar, genocide supporter, and all this other bullshit.
Okay, you condemn the UCLA
so let me just let me make it clear.
You condemn them.
So, just to recap, he spent this whole panel talking about how the students feel unsafe, but didn't say shit about how at UCLA, a bunch of Zionist thugs on the Israeli regime side went and started rioting and throwing firecrackers and attacking the pro-Palestinian peaceful protests. Double standard? You don't have anything to say about that? You quiet, boo. Yeah. But instead, Piers Morgan wants to cry about how his fifis were hurt because Jank said that he was a liar and accused him of being a part of cancel culture, which, where's the lie? My gosh. Yeah, I mean, yeah, primary aesthetic instincts, that would not surprise me if they had been in the IOF either. I know. Piers Morgan just crying and crying and crying and crying and crying. Like...
Wait a minute.
You condemn them.
Wait a minute.
You pro-violence.
Can I answer the question? If this was Jewish students that were breaking into this building violently...
No, you don't have to go with a hypothetical.
No, sorry, I am going to go with a hypothetical because you're trying to make...
I love that. He's like, would you condone this if this were students going into a building and being violent? And Jank correctly says, we don't need to do a hypothetical. I just told you that students were assaulted yesterday on UCLA campuses. And he's like, no. I'd rather do a hypothetical. I don't know how to do British accents. Hey, Rami. It's just amazing, guys. It's literally amazing. I think that there was one more part of Jank that I wanted to show.
Just to be clear.
That's why I come back on this show.
Just to be clear.
But the American media is filled with racist against saying that. In reality, hold on. In reality, vigilante thugs last night attacked the peace protesters at UCLA who had done nothing wrong. It was a violent attack. They beat them with sticks. They pepper sprayed them. And yet, I ask you a simple question. You've got now 20 to 30 minutes of propaganda saying, oh, the Palestinian protesters, the peace protesters, they hate the Jews, they're anti-Semites, all the Jews are in danger, etc. And I'm saying, of course, let's protect them. And then you make it seem like that's the 98% of the issue, when in reality, the only protesters that have been massively violent are the pro-Israel protesters. And to this second, not only did you mention it for about 2.5 seconds out of 20 minutes, but you still haven't condemned them. So do you condemn them, Piers, the violent thugs?
I deliberately held off writing or commenting about what was going on in Columbia.
First of all, let's not get it twisted, okay? This guy, Xavier, whatever his name, Javier, whatever this guy that is on the panel in between Cornell and Jank, this guy is a paid propagandist for the IOF, okay? Let's not get that twisted. He literally started doing, basically, he was a TikToker, just like I make TikToks, but there's no money in like calling out the Israeli regime. There's no money in being on the left. So like people just get censored for talking about the truth. But if you're on the pro-Israeli regime side, they will find you, they will pay you, and they will pay you to do propaganda for them. So he's actually paid to do pro-Israeli propaganda. In fact, he got hired by PragerU, which is a insane propaganda network. It's not a university, even though they call it that. And all they do is have right-wing billionaires fund their anti-free speech, anti-Arab, anti-anything that isn't totally extreme right-wing pro-Israel. And he works for them now. He got hired by them. It's absolutely insane. Yeah, if you want to make some fucking money, go be a lackey for the fucking AIPAC and the Israeli regime. They pay, and they will pay you to go out there and lie, just like Michael Rappaport. Colby said that Jank is a liberal stooge for the establishment. I mean, I understand a lot of people who are on the left do not like Jank, but that's your opinion. I don't agree. I really do like Jank a lot. I think he's honest, and I think that he says what he means. And not only that, but honestly, guys, like, just a side note, this reminded me, my politics have changed since October 7th. My whole philosophy, well, I don't know if you would say philosophy necessarily, but like my ideology has changed since October 7th because I've been changed since October 7th. That's really funny. The guy wrote, Colby wrote, that's fair. Okay, that's fair. Goodbye. Like he didn't want to hear what I had to say, which is interesting because honestly, if you're the type of person that is not willing or interested in hearing a dissenting voice or a view that you don't like, you only want to be spoon-fed what you agree with, you only want to hear things that people who you agree with have to say, and if I don't validate what you already believe, then you don't want to listen, you don't want to have a conversation, honestly, then good fucking riddance. Good riddance. I do not even want to deal with people who are so close-minded and so blind that they can't listen or think or be critical of their own ideology and listen to another person's perspective. And so what I was going to say before that person said that was that I have changed. My politics have changed since October 7th because I have changed. I don't think there's any way for me to not have changed with what I've seen. I don't just mean the academic aspect of it, the fact that I've read a lot now and educated myself about what has really happened in Gaza, what the history of Palestine is, and the brutal oppression that they have been going through for decades. But so not just the academic part has changed me. I don't know how you look at all of the people suffering in Gaza, the mass brutal slaughter of innocent people in there day after day after day, and not have it fundamentally change you. I don't know. Because I've seen enough corpses to have had it change me. Enough children with their heads blown off. Incinerated families. It's just, I just don't know how that doesn't change you. And so when I say that my politics have changed, I'm still on the left, I guess you could say, although I don't even like calling myself a leftist because I don't agree with everything that leftists say. But I tend more to agree with the left than I definitely agree more with the left than I do the right. So I tend to say that I'm on the left, but I wouldn't call myself a leftist. But so I'm still like, I would say like I lean on the left, but I would, and I didn't call myself a Democrat even before this happened because I think the Democrats are hacks and shills. But what's changed is that I no longer look at people when it comes to domestic politics as right versus left as much as I do, are you against humanity and free speech, or are you pro free speech and pro humanity? Like, basically what I'm trying to say is that depending on where someone falls on the issue of Gaza, that will determine whether or not I think that they're good or bad people, basically, or that I'm willing to listen what they have to say. And that doesn't mean that I don't listen to what a lot of people have to say. I actually listen all the time to views that I oppose. all the time, unlike the guy that was just in my chat, unwilling to listen to something he opposed. But I always listen to views I oppose because I think it's important. It's really important for all of us to be educated on what other people are saying, what the other side is, what the argument is. We need to understand that. Thank you, O'Day. Thank you, O'Day. I appreciate that. I don't know what that was. Thank you, O'Day. I appreciate that. But I think that basically, sorry, I got thrown off my train of thought. But basically what I'm saying is that Gaza and what has happened to the Palestinians has fundamentally changed me so much that I don't just look at like left versus right or conservative versus liberal anymore. I look at imperialism versus not imperialist, whatever the word is for that. I look at, are you on the side? Bro, who's calling me? I look at, are you on the side of genocide or are you on the side opposing genocide? And like I said, I'm willing anyway to listen to views that I don't like anyway, because I think it's important to sharpen your beliefs, to listen to people that you don't agree with. But what I have noticed in myself is that I'm giving a little bit more leeway. I'm giving a little bit more understanding to people that I generally wouldn't agree with, depending on their stance on Palestine. If they are being principled about being anti-war, anti-genocide, and they're being pro-free speech, then I'm giving them another look. I'm more willing to entertain what they have to say, not just listening to it for oppositional purposes, but to actually like consider it. Yeah, exactly. Versus, yeah, human versus inhumane. And that's what we are seeing a lot of. Anna, and I don't condemn Hamas. Neither do I. Neither do I. I'm getting really tired of that. But do you condemn? But do you condemn Hamas? Because that's literally what that is. It's like all the time. And I don't. And I think it's ridiculous that we're calling one side terrorist, but we don't call the IOF that. Like, please. Would I vote for Biden? I don't think that I'm going to. But even though when this first happened, I was defending the idea of voting for him. But that was really before they went in to Gaza, did a ground invasion. It was before I really understood the gravity of what was happening in Palestine. And since then, as I said, I've changed. It's changed me. And they have the audacity to condemn I know. Even though when it comes to other countries, we praise their resistance, right? Like, I love how all the people that love resistance in America do all up until it's Palestinians. Because when it was America going through the Revolutionary War, it was all, patriots, don't tread on me. Patriots here will literally brag about how they're going to utilize their Second Amendment rights if somebody steps on their property. But then when it comes to the Palestinian resistance that are resisting, as they have the right to under international law, all of a sudden it's terrorists. Wah! Wah! Oh yeah, Shadowbox Kicker. Yeah, I saw that. I actually did a video on their rape hoax. How they lied and made that up, and now they just made like a fake documentary about it. Yeah, and Mo Sand, you are absolutely right. No one ever says, well, what about the Palestinians' right to defend themselves? You know, as Dana Bash said earlier in the stream that I showed you guys, it's all, oh, well, you know, Israel has a right to defend itself, blah, 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 blah. Well, what about the Palestinians' right to defend themselves? And then she says, oh, well, there was a ceasefire on October 6th. Well, first of all, no, there wasn't. But second of all, you could argue, if you're going to argue that what Israel's doing is defense, that what Hamas did on the 7th was defense. No? Yeah, exactly. We have a uniparty. Absolutely 100%. It's unbelievable. It really is. It really is. And so, you know, our media is so corrupt, and it's unbelievable the amount of propaganda they are pushing out. Have I watched the yeah, yes, Zach, I did watch the Netanyahu video about the ICC. It was insane. Just like the video where he went out and he's like, ugh, it's so unacceptable that these protests are happening on college campuses. Like, excuse me, bitch, who are you? Who are you? You don't get to say what American students say on college campuses, except for he will get to say, because Congress just passed that bill that criminalizes Americans' free speech to criticize the Israeli government. So, yeah, exactly. Yeah, and everything. Yeah, exactly. And if a Palestinian does try to defend themselves, it's everything and anything I don't like is Hamas. Everyone's Hamas. Yeah, my video about debunking their stories is still up. It's on here. Yeah, or like it's the same shit. It's like everything except for Palestinians. Like that's literally like how it is. It's like we're gonna cry over Syrian children, we're gonna cry over Ukrainian children, but when it comes to Palestinians, we're gonna take a 7-year-old boy and say that he's a militant, say he's Hamas, and that they had it coming. Like the way that they're treated is just indescribable. Before though we get to the next story, because I want to go over with you guys and talk to you guys about the bill that just passed in Congress to criminalize criticism of Israel. Just want to let you guys know that you can subscribe. You can also become members, and you can now send me super chats because now I have enough watch time on YouTube. Woo! Okay. Okay. Anyway. Oh, I wanted to finish what Jank was saying. Let's do that.
For quite a few days, and I will do the same about
everybody catches.
Do the same about what happened at UCLA until I've actually established
of
for
course.
my. Well, hang on.
Super
no,
convenient.
sorry, it happened overnight,
Super
and I will
convenient.
wait and see the facts. And when I get the facts, I will pass judgment without fear or favor, and certainly without any racism. Now, you were there last night.
And Piers, hold on. On the racism charge? No, because everyone who defends Palestinians in this country, no matter what they say, like I'm a perfect example. I condemn Hamas. I want to protect the Jewish students. I want a beautiful pro-Palestine and Israel. I want 2 states. And we're called anti-Semites,
well, that I don't agree with,
including by your guests, 24/7. The minute someone calls
you a racist back because
Muslim lives don't matter, all of a sudden everybody catches feelings.
Yeah, except I haven't called.
Which only goes one way. It only goes one way, right?
No. And tell you what,
I've never called in this country.
I have never called you an anti-Semite. I've never called Dr. West an anti-Semite. I've never called either of you racist, and yet both of you have gone along with calling me a racist, even though I'm not. So yeah, if you're going to dish it out, be very careful.
Piers, are you going to ignore the framing? You know you framed it this way, and Piers, you're not alone.
It is the framing. It's all in the framing. And both Jank and Cornel West call him out on that. And then Jank goes on to say that, yeah, it's not just you. It's all of the media, because it is all of the media. It is. Like, that's what's insane about this. I just saw somebody commented, CNN referred to the 6-year-old little girl, Hind Rajab, as a young woman. Yeah, that's how this happens in this country. Propaganda and lies from our media accusing a little girl who got murdered by the IOF, including 2 hospital workers, like EMTs from the Red Crescent, which is like the equivalent of America's Red Cross, going to try to get her, and they killed them too. Like, it's insane. Wait, you said it's really sick. It's really sick. You said, did you see a video of Golda Meir, the PM of Israel in 1973, when she said that she is a Palestinian? What? Is that on YouTube? That's crazy.
And take them somewhere. These are organizations dedicated to kill and to bring down planes for Israelis. But wherever Israelis are, therefore their planes must come down. They started with El Al.
Bro, don't they have a shorter clip? Oh, here we go.
When were Palestinians born? What was all this area before the First World War? When Britain got the mandate over Palestine, what was Palestine then? Palestine was then the area between the Mediterranean and the Iraqian border.
You say there's no such thing.
East and West Bank, no. East and West Bank was Palestine. I'm a Palestinian. From 21 until 48, I carried a Palestinian passport. There was no such thing in this area as Jews and Arabs and Palestinians. There were Jews and Arabs. We know that after the Six-Day War, all
war. I like how they always, that's so crazy. That's so crazy. Yeah, where was she actually from? Let's find out. Yeah, okay, well, where was she born? She was born in Kyiv. Bro. 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 Bro, she was literally Russian. She was Ukrainian. Wow. Yeah, Mango. I feel the same way. I feel the same way. So many things that I really had no idea of. I was so uneducated and ignorant about the truth when it came to Palestine and Israel. And these last 6 months has just, you know, obviously for people who knew about this already, talked about this or studied this already, this wasn't that surprising. But for somebody like me, who really had no idea and had just bought into like the media narrative here because there was no other narrative. Like it wasn't like other issues with the left and the right where there's two narratives and we fight. There was one narrative about Israel that both the left and the right shared. And that was that Israel's great. They're just trying to defend themselves. They're trying to live in peace. And those Arabs are always trying to kill them for being Jewish. That was the narrative. And so these last 6 months has not only, as I was saying earlier, like changed me and changed the way that I view things in general, but it also has been a mind-blowing experience. Just everything that I've read, everything that I've listened to, everything that I've seen, it's just been like mind-blowing to learn the truth about Palestine and all the lies that were told to us over and over and over again for decades. Yeah. Oh, did she grow up in Wisconsin? Wait. Oh my gosh, you're right. Return to Milwaukee. LOL. LOL. Okay, so she was an American. Like, born Ukrainian American. That's amazing. It wasn't because my dad told me about it at a young age. Yeah, I mean, I feel grateful that I know now, but I wish I would have known earlier. Netanyahu was born in Poland. I think I knew that. Yeah, exactly, Mo. That is absolutely true. They are getting punished and persecuted for crimes they didn't commit, for things they didn't do. And it's so disgusting. And it has the full, Israel would not be able to do what they are doing if it were for us in the United States giving them cover. And that's why they act like such monsters with such impunity, because they know that they're protected. It's just, it's so nauseating. And they don't give a fuck about what American citizens think. In fact, their response to us Americans protesting the genocide in Gaza was not to consider what we had to say. It was to pass a bill banning free speech. All right.
Learning and being in a conducive environment for all of the things that we do.
Okay, because we gotta do this free speech crackdown really quick. Oh no. Golda looks like Ellie. You're right, Ruben. She does look like LBJ. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. So accurate. Oh my gosh, that is so funny. That's so hilarious. Okay, let's watch this clip about the crackdown on free speech at the universities, including mine. No, Joel, I do think it happened. I just think it was the West and Germany that committed it, and now Palestinians are being made to pay for it. Let's see. Woza. What is happening here? So I guess on here, you can't share your whole screen. Because then it does this weird shit. All right, that's really odd. It doesn't really let you it doesn't really let you do that. Chinchura. What's that? What's chinchura? No, you guys are getting me so distracted. I wanted to talk about the free speech thing. Wait, Tanchura. Okay. Is this what you guys are referring to? All right, I'll watch it. I'll make it I'll put it on my list to watch. What is it about? Oh, it's about the formation. Okay. Okay. Someone asked me, would I ever live in an Arab country? Yeah. Yeah. Why not? Except for I wouldn't go to Saudi Arabia, because fuck them. But other countries, yeah. Elvis's cat, that's a funny handle. Elvis's cat, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate that. Guys, you wrote, actually, I'm going to share it. Thank you, Blakely, for putting yourself out there and using your talent and skills. Thank you. I really appreciate the super chat, especially since it actually feels really exciting because I wasn't eligible to do lives for a while. And then I wasn't eligible to receive super chats or subscriptions because I didn't have enough watch time on YouTube. But now I do have enough watch time on YouTube, so people can send me super chats and things like that. And that's really exciting. That's awesome. So thank you so much. Yeah, I would love to go to I would love to go to Palestine. When people are like, when right-wingers are like, oh yeah, why don't you go to Gaza? And they think it's like some gotcha. I'm like, I would love to go to Gaza. Unfortunately, I can't right now because I would get killed by the IOF. Like, what are we doing here? It's amazing. It's amazing. All right. Okay, so I think to go. Oh, thank you, Dustin. I appreciate that. Yeah, first of all, every Palestinian, you guys, I've ever encountered has been amazing. And I have met a lot of them, especially since I have been doing fundraisers to try to raise funds for them to get out of Gaza and go into Egypt. Because a lot of them, I'm sure most of you know this, the Egyptians are charging tens of thousands of dollars for people to evacuate. It's really sick. Oh yeah, thank you before for reminding me. We need to talk about this free speech, this attack on free speech. Yeah, we're going to talk about that right now. I want to show you guys. Thank you, Fame. Thank you, Fame. I appreciate you. Okay. Let's talk about this insane House passes anti. Okay. Actually, I think I read it. I want to go to the AP one. All right. So let's read this, guys, because it's literally insane. It's literally insane. House passes a bill to expand the definition of anti-Semitism amid growing campus protests over Gaza war, over the Gaza genocide. The House passed legislation Wednesday that would establish a broader definition of anti-Semitism for the Department of Education to enforce anti-discrimination laws, the latest response from lawmakers to a nationwide student protest movement over the genocide in Gaza. The proposal, which passed 320 to 91, which, what the fuck? That's insane. This is so insane, okay? I just want to pause there as a side note and say that if you live in the United States, okay, if you live in the United States, please vote out whoever voted for this. Like, this is bigger than partisan politics. Like, I don't care if you're a Republican. I don't care if you're a Democrat. The fact that this was voted for by an overwhelming 2/3 majority of our Congress is despicable. It is despicable. There needs to be consequences to this. So if your representative voted for this legislation, they should be voted out immediately. I already checked. My Congress member did not vote for it, thankfully. Otherwise, I would already be in her fucking office, okay? Like, absolutely not. Insanity that it passed. This is what I mean, guys, when I always say to you, when they say bipartisan, they mean bipartisan to screw you. That's what they mean. When they say bipartisanship, they mean we love to come together to strip you of your rights. That's what that means. Okay, so let's go back to this because this is just insane. The proposal, which passed 320 to 91, was it was overwhelmingly bipartisan, would codify the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance's definition of anti-Semitism in Title 6. That is 6, right? Yeah, Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, a federal anti-discrimination law that bars discrimination based on shared ancestry, ethnic characteristics, and national origin. It now goes to the Senate, where its fate is uncertain. Except it is not uncertain because we know that the Senate, just like the House, are bought and paid for by AIPAC. Okay. We know that our whole Congress is bought by AIPAC. We know that Joe Biden is paid by AIPAC. So it will pass. Okay. That is It's not uncertain. Action on the bill was just the latest reverberation in Congress from a protest movement that has swept university campuses. Republicans in Congress have denounced the protests and demanded action to stop them, thrusting university officials into the center of a charged political debate over Israel's conduct of the genocide in Gaza. More than 33 Palestinians have been killed since it was launched in October after Hamas staged a deadly terrorist attack against Israeli civilians. You just notice the framing there, guys. Notice the framing. See how it says more than 33 Palestinians have been killed. They always write it in a passive voice. You know what I mean? Like they always write it in a very passive, very sanitized voice. Like, oh, Palestinians were killed. You know, a coconut fell on their head. Like, but then when it comes to Israel, the way that they frame it, it's all, oh, Hamas staged a deadly terrorist attack against the Israeli civilians. You know, you notice the difference in the way that they frame the Israelis versus how they frame the Palestinians. Very convenient. Very convenient. So they passed this bill. And guys, this was also after they passed the resolutions condemning from the river to the sea. And they also passed a resolution saying that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, which is insane because anti-Zionism is an ideology. Zionism is an ideology. The fact that they're criminalizing that would be the equivalent of criminalizing being a Republican or criminalizing criticism of Democrats or Republicans. It's insane. Okay. So, oh, thank you, Lizette. We love you too. So listen. So they're saying they're adopting the Holocaust Remembrance Memorial's official definition of anti-Semitism. So let's look at what that is and the insanity of what that is. I think it's... All right. You guys ready for this insanity, this gaslighting? A working definition of anti-Semitism. Okay, just 2 seconds into it, I already have a fucking... Oh, Sheen! Oh, Sheen, hey! Wait. Oh, Shin. Damn it, I thought I had your name right. But hey, thank you for the super chat. But do you condemn Hamas? Okay, you guys, let's read this absolute insanity, okay? The gaslighting is already starting when they say working definition of anti-Semitism. Working definition. So what they're saying is the definition is malleable. You can change the definition whenever the fuck you want. Insane. Okay, so this is what they're adopting, and they are trying to make into law. All right, you guys ready for this? Adopt the following non-legally binding. Okay, pause again. They say adopt the following non-legally binding working definition of anti-Semitism. And now they are making this legal. They're going to make this definition, this extremely broad definition of anti-Semitism, they are going to make it the law. This is going to be the law. Okay, just want to make sure we understand all that. Happy birthday, Aria. Okay, let's go. Manifestations might include the targeting of the state of Israel. Let's pause there for a second. Again, sorry to have to keep pausing, but that's pretty important. You got that? You got that. According to this legislation that will become law in the United States, violating the Constitution and the First Amendment, is that to oppose Israel, to criticize the state of Israel, will be considered anti-Semitic, punishable by law. Insanity. Absolute insanity. I don't know why more Americans' hair is not on fire over this. conceived as a Jewish collectivity, it's similar to that leveled of any other country cannot be regarded as anti-Semitism. Anti-Semitism frequently charges Jews with conspiring to harm humanity and is often used to blame Jews on why things go wrong. Blah, 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 blah. Contemporary examples of anti-Semitism in public life, the media, schools, the workplace, and in the religious sphere could take into account the overall context, but not limited to. So you got that, guys? It's not limited to. So this can change at any time. It's anything I don't like or I say at any given time that's anti-Semitic. Calling for, aiding, or justifying the killing of harming Jews in the name of a radical ideology or extremist view of religion. Okay, well, that's already illegal. Like, you can't do that to any group. Making mendacious, dehumanizing, demonizing, or stereotypical allegations about Jews, such as the power of Jews as a collective, such as especially but not exclusively the myth about world Jewish conspiracy or Jews controlling the media or the government, accusing Jews as a people of being responsible for real or imagined wrongdoing, denying the fact, scope, and mechanisms or intentionality of the genocide of the Jewish people at the hands of the National Socialist Germany, accusing Jews as a people or the Israeli state of inventing or exaggerating the Holocaust. So actually, hate speech and Holocaust denial is protected under the First Amendment, actually. Or the state of Israel, though. Accusing Jewish citizens of being more loyal to Israel or alleged priorities of Jews worldwide than the interests of their own nations. Okay, so that's illegal now. Denying the Jewish people their right to self-determination, i.e. by claiming the existence of the state of Israel is a racist endeavor. So you got that? You got that? You are not allowed to criticize the state of Israel at all. At all. This is insane. Okay? Wait, where was I? Applying double standards by requiring it a behavior it's expected or not demanded of any other nation. Okay, so then does this apply both ways? Because actually, the only double standard that's implemented with Israel is that we give them special treatment. They're saying, oh, you can't use a double standard when it comes to Israel because that's not fair. That's anti-Semitic. How about all the special treatment we give Israel that we don't give any other nation? We don't give China any special treatment. Now, I know China's our adversary, but we do business with them. Our economies are pretty interlocked. What about Ukraine? Do we give Ukraine that special treatment? This is batshit. This is batshit. Using symbols, images associated with classic anti-Semitism, claims of Jews killing Jesus or blood libel. Okay. This is basically criminalizing the Bible, okay? What you're saying is if you talk about or quote the Bible or read passages from the Bible, then that's anti-Semitic and therefore going to be against the law. So we're criminalizing Christianity now. Gotcha. Gotcha. Also, the idea that you can't draw things. Do you guys remember back in 2015 when right-wingers lost their minds because some people said you shouldn't draw the Prophet Muhammad in a negative way? There were people that were making fun of the Prophet Muhammad and drawing cartoons of him. And there were some Muslim people that were offended by that. And a lot of Americans and a lot of right-wingers made fun of them and said, how dare you tell us that we can't draw your prophet because of the First Amendment? And now you're telling them that they can't draw political cartoons. Even though that's allowed under our First Amendment, you're basically saying that's also anti-Semitic. Okay, got it. Drawing comparisons of contemporary Israeli policy to that of the Nazis. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, so even though Israel is committing a literal genocide in Gaza and wiping them out, starving them to death, brutalizing them, humiliating them, carpet bombing them, you're not allowed to compare that to what anything that Germany did in the 30s. Otherwise, you're an anti-Semite. Okay? Dana Bash is allowed to call pro-peace Palestinian protesters, the Gestapo or whatever, but you're not allowed to draw comparisons from Israel or the Holocaust. Otherwise, you're an anti-Semite and you will be treated as such by the law. Insane. Holding Jews collectively responsible for the actions of Israel. No one does that. Literally no one does that. And then they passed that resolution saying that anti-Zionism is anti-Semitism, which it's not. Except it's not. Okay, so back to the article. If passed the Senate and signed into law, the bill would broaden the legal definition of anti-Semitism to include targeting of the state of Israel, conceived as a Jewish collectivity. Critics say the move would have a chilling effect on free speech throughout college campuses. Are you kidding me? This wouldn't just be a chilling effect on college campuses. This is going to be the criminalization of free speech in our entire country. And if you're a right-winger that's cheering this, by the way, and you think that this is based and you think it's awesome because fuck the Arabs and all that kind of shit that these racists have been saying, if you think that, be careful what you fucking wish for. Be careful what you wish for, because once this precedent is set, once the precedent is set that you can do this, that you can criminalize speech, you think they're not going to come for your speech? You think they're not going to come for your speech? Please. And when was the last time you saw this kind of privilege and special treatment being given to any other group? Did you see special treatment being given to, did you see special, no, you can't criticize Israel within Israel. They will not let you do that. But do you see them giving special treatment to Black people? Because I haven't. Where's the special treatment? I mean, these laws are absolutely ludicrous. I didn't see, after the Black Lives Matter protests, laws being written giving special privileges to Black Americans and saying that if anybody said anything racist against Black Americans, that, you know, the government was going to crack down on you. I didn't see them do that after COVID when people were attacking Asian people. How about after 9/11? How about after that? Do you guys remember Arab people getting special protections under the law with all the attacks that they were getting? How about now? How about all the Arabs that are getting attacked now and you're not getting any of those people being like, well, maybe we should write laws protecting them and banning speech? Colby, you're not clarifying anything to me about Jank. I know about the Young Turks taking money from Jeffrey Katzenberg. I'm aware of that. That doesn't mean that just because their company took investment money from them, that means that everything that Jank says is going to be. If Jank were just a pro-Israel shill, then he wouldn't be going out day after day after day after day and defending the rights of the Palestinians. Like, and again, oh, I keep saying Colby, it's Collie. Okay. And again, Collie, you can disagree with someone. You can not like what they have to say, but you're not doing yourself any favors if all you want to do is be propagandized by people that you already agree with. If all you want to do is talk to people who you already agree with, who are going to confirm your prior beliefs, and you don't ever want to hear the opinions of anyone else, then what are you doing? Like, for real. TYT is subject to their donors like everyone else. Yeah, and you know who TYT gets most of its money from? Regular people. People who donate to them. People who sign up for their membership through their website. Like, this is just so stupid. I'm not saying that people aren't influenced by getting donor money. Of course they are. Everybody's influenced if they get money. But there is a big difference between the majority of your money coming from your members than there is getting a one-time investment, which happened 5 years ago, and that was it. How about instead of just trolling about Jank because you guys don't like Jank, how about you actually look into the Daily Wire and who's funding them? Because I never hear you guys talk about the Wilkes brothers. I never hear any of you concerned trolls about TYT or about Jank talk about the investment money that the Daily Wire gets and who funds them, which are oil tycoons and billionaires. Please. I know it's a case. It's a fact. Yeah, I'm not arguing with this person anymore. Like I said, they said to me earlier, this colleague person said to me earlier, oh, because you said you like Jank, bye. I'm like, okay, well, if that's the kind of person you are, I don't want you in my fucking chat anyway. I don't want to deal, and I have no interest in dealing with fake people or people who are so stuck in their ways and blinded in their ways and have such closed minds that they are willing to not listen to someone and to disregard somebody's opinion because it makes them uncomfortable because it doesn't jive with the opinion that they already previously held. If you are not comfortable with having your beliefs challenged, then this is not the place for you. Because I will say things that are going to piss off the left. I will say things that are going to piss off the right. And I will say things that'll piss off the establishment and things that will piss off the independents. I think for myself and I decide who I like and I don't like. And if you can't handle that, then bye. Anyway. Yeah, exactly. Well, I appreciate that before because that is the fucking point. We should be able to disagree. I am so tired of the fucking echo chambers. I am so tired of the echo chambers. Just people just demanding that people say what they want them to say. People demanding that you agree with everything they say or else they're going to mob you. It's like, no, I am done with that shit. I am so done with that shit. I will not be told who to like. I will not be told who to agree with. I will not be told what to say or what I can't say. That's not going to happen. Anna Oliveira, why are people so afraid to say the truth about Hamas and defend them? Well, I defend them. I defend them as a resistance movement, the Al-Qassam brigades. But I think that a lot of people are afraid to defend them because they get attacked as terrorist sympathizers. And, you know, it's an effective way to shut people down. You don't have to think about the real questions. You don't have to think about what's really going on if you can just shut the conversation down by calling people terrorists. Yeah, Dustin, I appreciate that. Like, as you shouldn't. As you shouldn't. People should be able to hold the people that they listen to accountable. That is the problem. People don't hold people accountable. In fact, the problem is the extremes. On one hand, you have people that refuse to hold their commentators, the people they look up to, content creators, politicians, celebrities accountable, and they will defend everything they do no matter what. And then you have people on the other side, people like Kali over here, that because they don't like someone, they'll be like, canceled. I don't like them. I don't like Jank. So I don't want to hear anything you have to say. I don't ever want to hear anything TYT has to say. I don't want to hear anything he says about Gaza because I don't like him. Canceled. Like, it's this type of extremes that have led to this brain dead polarization, okay? This brain melted polarization that we have in this country that is getting us precisely nowhere. Precisely nowhere. Kinslaver, because they're afraid of losing their job. Exactly. There are a lot of people afraid of losing their jobs. And I understand that because they'll literally come after you. They're putting these students' faces on buses and saying that they shouldn't get jobs after they leave college. Kali, I heard you when you said TYT got funding from Katzenberg. I already knew that. I literally do not care about a one-time investment that was made into TYT back in 2017, so almost 6 years ago, when the majority of their funding comes from their members. And if you really have that much of a problem with somebody getting investment into their company, then maybe you should hold that same smoke and that same energy for places like The Hill or The Intercept or the Daily Wire or any other outlet that has gotten investment, including anybody who uses Google. Wait, you can't be brain melted like this. Everybody gets money from somewhere. Right now, I am using Google as a platform. Google is a platform that invests in a bunch of right-wing shit, including in Israel, which I obviously oppose. But the idea, oh yeah, Eggy, I would love to be able to collab with Abby Martin and Plustia. Hey, if anybody can help me get Abby Martin, if anybody can help me get Abby Martin and Plustia on here, I'd love to interview them. No, I know, Flux, but I do not know why my dog is doing this. Like, my dog is just making this situation happen. But anyway, the point is, everybody who says, oh, well, you know, if you get investment from anyone, then that automatically means that you're bad or you're a fraud. It's like, I'm sorry. Can you stop being so brain melted? Okay. People have different views, and the type of investment they're getting matters, where they're getting it matters, how often they're getting it matters, why they got it matters. Like, it's not just so fucking black and white. It's not so fucking black and white. Like, so because Piers Morgan, because TYT got investment 5 years ago, that means that they're automatically bad. But then you'll listen to somebody and like somebody who gets investment from Peter Thiel. Hey, Kali, why don't you tell me about all the people on Rumble? You like the people on Rumble because Rumble was invested in by Peter Thiel, who owns Palantir, which creates mass surveillance on Americans and bombs for Israel. They're literally Mossad. So you're telling me that you have a problem with TYT because they got Katzenberg investment 5 years ago, but you don't have a problem with Rumble and their mad investments into Palantir. Please, please. It's about using critical thinking skills. Critical thinking skills. You don't have to agree with everything that TYT does to understand that what Jank is doing in this instance is good. What he is doing to defend the Palestinians is good. You don't have to like everything that the owners of Rumble did in order to like some of the people on Rumble. Yeah, but even places like Bad Hasbara, which I love, I was on their podcast, Gray Zone, all of them have investments. All of them do. Or if they're not, they're using YouTube, which YouTube, as we know, is a huge conglomerate. Like, we can't look at what I'm trying to say is you can't look at everything as so black and white. This means this, this means this. We have to use our critical thinking skills about these things. Okay, I love Katie Halper's show too. Yeah, I really like Abby Martin. Somebody asked, what do you think about Nick Fuentes getting unbanned from Twitter? Yeah, I think that's good because you can't pretend that you're going to be a free speech platform and then have people banned. It's as simple as that. Yeah, you can't say that you're a free speech platform, that you're a free speech absolutist, and then you're kicking people off the platform. Like, that's not how it works. You either have one standard for everyone or you have no standard at all. Thanks, Dustin. Please have Indy Nile on if you can. I would love to. I would love to. Thank you, Christine Bark, for the super sticker. That's so nice of you. Thank you. It's so nice to be able to actually like have people be able to send super chats. Yeah, sorry. I know now my voice hurts and I'm tired because now I was screaming and I've already been screaming all day. Somebody wrote that being non-binary is a psyop because I'm non-binary, and I say that again. Like I said, you don't have to like me or anything I say, but that's why I put it in my bio so you know up front that I'm going to make your brain scramble a little bit if you're a partisan, because I am non-binary. I'm also a Christian. I'm also more on the left. I'm also pro-free speech and don't think people should be banned from Twitter. And some of those views, people do not like some on one side and people don't like it on the other. So you don't have to hang here if you think that, you know, those things are bad. But I think that politics is very important and we should talk about it and we should talk about things that matter. I don't really think it matters that much that I'm non-binary when the Palestinians are getting mass slaughtered, honestly. Before, I don't remember what you were talking about or what I was talking about off topic. I was talking about the free speech thing, but I pretty much finished that. That it's like absolutely diabolical that our Congress on a bipartisan basis is passing laws criminalizing Americans' free speech. You think that they're not coming for you guys next? They're going to come for all speech next. And here's the other thing. Not only if you're an American, should you vote out every single one of these motherfuckers who voted for this attack, this massive attack on free speech. But here's the other thing. You should never trust anyone who says that they're pro-free speech and then backs this bill and backs the Israeli regime trying to take our free speech rights away. This is not the United States of Israel, okay? I know they're trying to make it the United States of Israel, but it is not. So we should all oppose anybody. If you see anybody defending this, you guys, if you see anybody on Twitter defending this bill, whether it is a politician that voted for it or somebody like Glenn fucking Beck or Mr. whatever his name is, that psycho that's on Fox that's always talking about communism, even though this is like insane attack on free speech, do not trust them. If somebody is talking positively about this bill and is saying that we shouldn't be able to criticize the Israeli government, they are criminalizing criticism of the Israeli regime. Do not trust them because they hate free speech. Motherfuckers like Barry Weiss, Ben Shapiro, Ben Rubin, Glenn Beck, all of them pretend to care about free speech. Oh, free speech, free speech, free speech. But not really, because the second the Israeli regime came into Congress and said, get on the floor, you son of a bitch, and pass a bill making it illegal for Americans to criticize Israel, what did they do? They immediately rolled over and they passed the bill. So never trust anyone, any pundit, any podcaster, any streamer, any politician, any news anchor who tells you that this is anything other than a massive, psychotic attack on free speech and a violation of our First Amendment rights. Period. Full stop. That was what I was getting at. Everybody should be condemning this. Everybody should be condemning this. Exactly, Edward, it is. Exactly. Free speech until it's not. Free speech unless, except it's not. It's not, because the Zionists have taken over and they want to criminalize our speech. Exactly. Christine, who I'm trying to think of is the Mark Levin. That is his name. Mark Levin is the fucking guy on Fox that screams into the void every single week and talks about communism and Marxism and the attacks on our free speech. And yet, he was cheering this. So to your point, Christine, what you're saying there is 100% spot on. All they do, the right wing specifically, and the media, screech about communism. Communism is coming to get us. Communism is under your bed. Marxism. And then they're the ones that turn around and pass this sweeping anti-First Amendment attack on free speech. And these same motherfuckers are cheering them for it. Really, the mask is off. All these fakes and their fake free speech absolutism, they are all so full of shit. The mask is so off. I'm glad we know who is on the side of free speech and who is not. And that's the reason why I say, guys, pay attention to what they're saying, to whether or not they are lying about the campus protests, to whether or not they are lying about this bill or praising this bill. Because whoever is saying that, whoever is praising this bill, agreeing with this bill, voted for this bill, not condemning this bill, they are the enemy. They're the enemy of freedom. They're the enemy of free speech. Yeah, it's just really funny how, like, all the right-wingers have disappeared. Like, where are all the Second Amendment people that are always screeching about how the government is going to come and take it and they're ready for them and don't tread on me? And then all of them are like, we're going to take away your free speech rights. And they're like, cool. Where can I sign up? Yeah, exactly. Before. It's just totally insane. Yeah. I think that was actually everything that I wanted to cover in regards to the speech thing, but I know I'm going to be losing my mind more about it tonight. Anyway, I am going to start trying to do this at least once a week, maybe twice a week. Yeah, the Tea Party is nowhere to be found, Collage. Is 5 o'clock a good time for you guys to go live? I'm still trying to figure out what days I should do it. Maybe I'll start out with once a week and then I'll move it up to a couple more times a week. But is 5 o'clock a good time? Yes, they should be sued, Elvis. They should. I hope they are immediately, if not sooner. I just want people to be educated about this because they're trying to slip this under the rug under the guise of protecting people from anti-Semitism. Zach, how do I do a poll in here? Can I do a poll like in here? Thank you, Amor. I appreciate that. Guys, I am going to start doing more live streams on here. And the reason why I'm going to do more live streams on here is because TikTok keeps censoring me. Because they're a joke. TikTok is a joke. When people are like, TikTok, it's so great. No, it ain't. They're a joke. Yeah, I'll try to create a poll that you guys can answer to see what time is better for you. But I don't know how to do a poll. I'll have to figure it out. I'm learning this alongside you guys. Like, I literally am still learning how to utilize the live stream. Okay, good. All right. All right. So first of all, just want to say, for the sake of Hamas. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I will do twice a week for the sake of Hamas. Yes. I'll put a thing on. Thank you, Edward, for the super sticker. Thank you guys for the super chats that you gave. Thank you for hanging out with me in here. I'm going to figure out another day to do live streams, but it probably will start out being twice a week. And I love you all. I had a lot of fun hanging with you guys. Yeah, I will see you next week. And if you want to catch me before then, I'll be on TikTok and Instagram and Twitter. I'll be losing my mind on Twitter. All right. All right. Thanks, everybody. I'll see you guys later. Free Palestine, free Palestine. And Fuck Zionists.